right, let's go to Professor Bolaji Akinyemi now, who joins us virtually. Prof, good evening and welcome to Politics Today.
Good evening, Terry. I don't think we've met before.
No, we haven't.
Thank you for inviting me to. Thank you for inviting me to your program.
It's an honor to have you. Professor, Minister of Foreign Affairs, I'd like to find out from you what your initial reaction was to this news, and most importantly, how you would assess the federal government's reaction to it.
Well, I think we have a problem here. When we were preparing for this program, my understanding was that I was going to talk about the developments in the Middle East, the connection with the Nobel Peace Prize that was announced today, and not this topic that you have brought up. I seldom like to stray away from my area of specialty.
Oh, my most sincere apologies, Prof. Then let me wrap up with Honorable Bila now, and I'll come back to you. But I don't know if it was, as a Foreign Affairs Minister, I think you probably have an advice or two for the federal government on how to go about this, considering that this is a diplomatic issue, isn't it?
You are quite right. But it's a question of preparation. Obviously, this has an impact on our foreign policy profile and the profile of the country, as a whole. And whatever affects the profile, the Nigerian government has to take it seriously. I don't think it's a question of American Senate versus Nigerian Senate. I think it is something that needs to be handled at a much higher level. I'm particularly worried by the fact that during the debate and in deciding what action to take, the Nigerian representative in Washington was excluded from the debate. That just doesn't sound right to me. But as I said, it's the issue of a Nobel Peace Prize and the implication for the development in the Middle East that really I was coming to talk about.
All right, Prof. What we'll do now is take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll expand on that conversation with you, if you stay with us. And then with Honorable Makbila, we're also expecting Honorable Oluwole to join us, and he's going to give us some new information on what Parliament is doing so far, because the argument now is on whether this should be a parliament-to-parliament intervention or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs should take this up diplomatically. We also know that the ministry had told Parliament that it had initiated moves to address the situation. But we all know how bills go, Honorable Bila. You know how this is. An external body cannot influence a bill. The bill will go through its process, and this is where Parliament comes in. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Politics Today. We still have Professor Bolaji Akinyemi with us, and the Honorable Mark Bila, former member of the House of Representatives. Prof, let me also just once again explain and apologize that the mix-up in communication is the reason why you may not be able to stay as long as you want with us. But you had wanted to talk about the situation, the Nobel Peace Prize that's been awarded to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Machado. What are your thoughts on that? Of course, Trump was in the running for it, but he didn't get it. So what does this mean?
Well, you are quite right to bring up the linkage between the two. My worry now is, now that Trump did not get the Nobel Prize, is he going to turn his back on developments in the Middle East? Because in a way, he's been driving it to ensure that peace returns to the Middle East, and hoping that he will then be rewarded with the value of the Nobel Prize. I'm particularly happy. And so I think a lot of scholars that the gravitas of the Nobel Prize has been sustained. It has not been diminished by the committee allowing themselves to be bullied by Trump. Trump is used to bullying people, to bullying nations, to bullying presidents. And finally, a committee stands up to him and says, no, we are not going to allow ourselves to be bullied. I'm very happy about that. By their act today, they sustained the value and the gravitas of the Nobel Prize. But we may pay a price for it if Trump decides now to turn his back on developments in the Middle East. Number two, I'm surprised that people keep talking about how this is the developments in the Middle East is something we've never seen before. There have been 4 or 5 wars in the Middle East. How do people think those wars were brought to an end? It's by the intervention of, presidents in different parts of the world. That's how the wars were brought to an end. So why is everybody talking as if what Trump has done in bringing peace to the Middle East is something that has never been done before? We're all allowing Trump to dictate the language in world politics and in peace politics, which I don't think is justified.
All right, Prof, let me bring it back home now and get you to assess Nigeria's relationship with the U.S. under President Donald Trump. And perhaps you can link that to this recent back and forth on the alleged genocide. What's your assessment?
Of course, as a Nigerian, I'm depressed and I'm upset that the charge of genocide would be leveled at my country. When you compare what is happening in Nigeria with what Netanyahu has done in the Middle East, to now link Nigeria and put us in the same basket with Israel and accuse us of genocide, I think it's unjustified. I listened to the honorable gentleman who you were talking to earlier, and it is true that there are unsavory developments in this country, especially in the Middle Belt, that will worry us. But it doesn't amount to genocide. Genocide, the magnitude of the effect of the death of what have you is such that, you see, when you misuse words in the way you diminish the impact of whatever it is you are trying to do, we Nigerians must understand that there are consequences to actions. And when we run down our own country, and the running down is unjustified, number one, we are demarketing our country. Number two, we are demarketing our image. And number three, is every Nigerian who then gets affected by what is said and what is unsaid. And this is a classical example of that. Now the charge of genocide is being leveled against our country. It doesn't help issues. It doesn't help matters. Having said that, it is a signal to Nigerian authorities that perhaps they are not taking this matter as seriously as they should. Those of us in the field of international affairs are always reminding Nigerians and the government itself, whether it is issue of passports, whether it is issue of passing our citizens, from one. Even I think early this morning, I was listening to again somebody on one of the channels talking about trafficking of 10-year-old Nigerian girls to Cote d'Ivoire. 10-year-old. Now, this has effect on the image of Nigeria. And now we are seeing the impact again on us, on our image, when we are being accused, we are being charged with committing genocide against our own people. The Nigerian government must take this issue very seriously. As I said in my intro at the beginning, it's not just a question for Senate. It's not Senate versus Senate. At the highest level, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, State Department, National Security Advisor in the United States, and this is where some of us have said that we have, since we instituted the status of National Security Advisor in Nigeria, we have never really given it, we have been accorded it the status it should be accorded. But now that the Nigerian Security Advisor has been saddled with internal and domestic security affairs, maybe he also should take it up at that level with his colleague in the United States and explain matters and explain issues. I don't know why we're waited until the matter has gone this far in the United States Congress before it has even become an issue of public concern to us in Nigeria. But because before you know it, they will cancel passports, they will cancel visas, and when you now want to run for Security Council positions, this matter will then arise, and genocide will now be attached to the name and the status of our country. It's a matter of deep concern.
Prof, I'd like to thank you very much. You've put it rightly, and so Honorable Wheeler nodding to your last comments, because Nigeria is seeking that permanent seat. Well, thank you very much, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, for finding time to speak with us, and apologies once again for the mix-up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.